Zara Mwangi was standing in her Nairobi apartment, folding dresses into her suitcase, smiling to herself. She was only 27, but this trip felt like a big moment. Her father was turning 60, and she wanted it to be special. She had booked everything herself, the flights, the luxury resort by the ocean, even a small surprise dinner. Every payment had gone from her own account. She kept thinking, Dad deserves this. Her phone buzzed on the bed. She thought it was a hotel confirmation. Instead, it was a message from her stepmother, Helena Otieno. You're not invited. This is family only. Zara stared at the screen, reading it again and again, hoping she misunderstood. Family only. Her hands slowly dropped to her sides. This was her father. This was his birthday. And this trip existed because of her. For a moment she just stood there, the room suddenly quiet. The excitement she had felt minutes ago disappeared. Her suitcase was still open, half-packed, like it was waiting for an answer she didn't have yet. She typed back, then deleted it. Typed again. Her heart was beating fast, not from anger, but from disbelief. Helena knew Zara had planned everything. She knew Zara had paid for it all. Still she had sent that message, cold and final, like Zara was a stranger. Zara sat on the edge of the bed and whispered, "Wow." Not because she was weak, but because she finally understood something. This wasn't a mistake. This was a choice. And in that moment, Zara realized this birthday trip was about to change in ways no one expected, especially the woman who thought she had just won. Zara stared at her phone for a long time after reading Helena's message. Her fingers hovered over the screen, ready to defend herself, ready to remind Helena of every payment, every plan, every sacrifice. But she didn't. She took a slow breath and typed just 2 words. "Okay, enjoy." She hit send and placed the phone face down on the bed. No long explanation. No fight. No begging. From the outside, it looked like she had accepted defeat. And that was exactly how Helena took it. Across town, Helena smiled when she saw the reply. No argument. No questions. Just silence. To her that meant victory. She thought Zara had finally learned her place. She assumed the money, the planning, the effort didn't matter anymore. In Helena's mind, silence meant surrender. But Zara's silence came from a very different place. As she sat alone in her apartment, memories rushed back. Family dinners where her ideas were ignored. Birthdays where she was asked to sit over there. Comments like, "You're too much," or "You always do extra." Years of being made to feel like a guest in her own family. Years of smiling through it, because she loved her father and didn't want trouble. She remembered helping quietly when her dad was sick, sending money without telling anyone, showing up even when she wasn't really wanted. And every time she chose peace, it was taken as weakness. Every time she stayed calm, it was used against her. Zara walked to the window and looked out at the busy Nairobi streets below. Cars moved, people laughed, life went on. She realized something important in that quiet moment. Silence doesn't always mean you have nothing to say. Sometimes it means you are choosing when to speak. She picked up her phone again, not to explain herself, but to remind herself who she was. She wasn't the extra one. She wasn't invisible. She was the reason this celebration even existed. And for the first time, she didn't feel the need to prove it out loud. Zara smiled softly, not with sadness, but with clarity. Let Helena think she had won. Let everyone believe Zara had stepped back. Some people confuse silence with weakness because they don't understand strength that doesn't shout. And Zara was done shouting. That night, the city was quiet around Zara's apartment. Nairobi lights glowed softly outside her window, but inside, everything felt still. She made a cup of tea, sat at her small desk, and opened her laptop. There was no anger on her face. Just focus. One by one, the confirmations filled the screen. Flights for 12 people. A luxury villa by the coast. Safari tours, private transfers. A chef booked for the birthday dinner. Every single thing had been paid for by her. When she added it all up, the number stared back at her clearly. $40,000. Zara leaned back in her chair for a moment, not because the amount scared her but because of what it meant. She had done this out of love. She had wanted her father to feel celebrated, respected, proud. She never planned to tell anyone how much it cost. She didn't need praise. She just wanted him happy. What hurt wasn't the money. It was the lie. Earlier that day, a cousin had sent her a screenshot from the family group chat. Helena was talking excitedly, taking credit for the trip. "I planned everything," she had written. "The resort, the flights, the safari. All my idea." People replied with praise. Heart emojis. Thank yous. Zara didn't reply. She didn't correct anyone. She just stared at the message and closed the chat. Back at her laptop, she clicked through her bookings slowly. Her name was everywhere. Her email, her card details, her signature at the bottom of every receipt. There was no confusion, no shared payment, no help from anyone else. This entire celebration existed because of her quiet effort. She remembered staying up late comparing resorts, checking reviews, making sure the villa had ocean views because her father loved the sea. She remembered choosing the safari because he once said it was his dream. All those details, all that care. Now someone else was wearing them like a trophy. Zara took a deep breath and saved everything into one neat folder. Screenshots, emails, payment proofs. Not out of revenge. Not yet. Just in case. She closed her laptop and whispered to herself, "Truth doesn't need to rush." Helena could enjoy the praise for now. She could enjoy the spotlight she didn't earn. Zara knew something no one else did. When the truth finally spoke, it wouldn't raise its voice. It wouldn't argue. It would simply show the receipts. Zara didn't rush into anything. She slept on it. In the morning, she woke up calm, almost peaceful. There was a strange clarity in her chest, the kind that comes when you finally stop doubting yourself. She made breakfast, sat down with her laptop, and opened the same folder again. Her finger hovered over the trackpad for a second. Then she clicked. First, the resort. She logged into her booking, read the cancellation policy one last time, and pressed confirm. A message popped up almost immediately. "Your reservation has been cancelled. Refund in process." She stared at it, not with guilt, but with relief. Next, the flights. 12 tickets. Different names, same payment method. Cancel. Confirm. Another email arrived. Then the private chef. Then the safari tours. One by one, the plans disappeared with a soft sound of notifications landing in her inbox. Click. Confirm. Refund pending. Her phone buzzed non-stop as the confirmations rolled in. Zara took screenshots of everything. Dates, times, booking numbers, refund amounts. She saved them carefully, not shaking, not crying. Her hands were steady. This wasn't anger. This was boundaries. While Zara sat quietly in her apartment, the family group chat was busy. Messages were flying in. Helena was fully in her moment. "You'll love the villa," she wrote. "Ocean view, private staff, very exclusive." Someone replied, "Wow, Helena, you really outdid yourself." Another added, "This will be unforgettable." Zara watched the messages without responding. Each brag felt heavier now, like words walking on thin ice. Helena had no idea the ground beneath her was already gone. Zara locked her phone and leaned back in her chair. There was no smile, no revenge glow. Just a deep sense of calm. The plans Helena was proudly talking about no longer existed. The luxury she was promising had already been quietly erased. She whispered to herself, "I didn't cause this." The truth was simple. If you remove someone from a celebration, you don't get to keep what they paid for. Respect isn't optional, and neither is gratitude. Zara closed her laptop and went on with her day. No announcement. No warning. The trap didn't need drama. It was already set. And when the time came, it would speak for itself, loud enough for everyone to hear, without Zara saying a single word. The morning of the birthday arrived bright and warm along the coast of Mombasa. The ocean sparkled, palm trees moved gently in the breeze, and guests stepped out of their cars smiling, luggage in hand. Everyone was dressed nicely, excited for the luxury weekend Helena had promised. Laughter filled the entrance as they walked toward the resort. Then the smiles started to fade. At the reception desk, the staff typed names into their system, frowned and typed again. "I'm sorry," one of them said politely. "We don't have any reservations under this name." People laughed at first, thinking it was a small mistake. Helena stepped forward confidently, her chin raised. "Try again," she said. "It must be there." They tried again, and again. Still nothing. The line grew longer. Guests shifted uncomfortably, checking their phones. The staff called a supervisor. Papers were pulled out. Screens were checked. The answer stayed the same. No rooms. No villa. No private booking. Helena's smile tightened. "It's probably a system error," she said loudly, forcing a laugh. "These things happen." She pulled out her credit card and pushed it across the counter. "Just book it again." The card was swiped. Declined. Her face drained of color. She tried another card. Declined again. The quiet in the lobby felt heavy now. Whispers began. Someone asked, "What do you mean there's no booking?" Another said, "But you said everything was paid for." Helena stepped aside, her hands shaking as she made urgent phone calls. Her voice rose with each one. "Yes, this is Helena Otieno. There's a mistake. Fix it now." But nothing changed. The staff stayed calm. The screens stayed empty. Meanwhile, hundreds of kilometers away, Zara sat peacefully in her Nairobi apartment. She had made tea and was scrolling through her phone when messages started popping up. Confusion. Question marks. Missed calls she didn't answer. She looked out her window and took a slow sip. Her heart wasn't racing. She wasn't celebrating. She just felt steady. Everything was happening exactly as it should. Back in Mombasa, reality finally hit. There was no luxury waiting. No rooms. No chef. No celebration. Just a lobby full of embarrassed guests and a woman running out of excuses. Zara put her phone down and whispered softly, "I warned no one." She didn't need to be there to see it. The truth had arrived before she ever could. Zara waited until the noise settled. She didn't rush to explain. She didn't answer the missed calls. When the family group chat went quiet for a moment, she opened it slowly, like someone walking into a room with the lights already on. She typed one short message. "I think there's some confusion." Then she attached the truth. One by one, the screenshots appeared in the group. Flight confirmations with her name and card details. The luxury villa booking under her email. The safari tours, the private chef, every receipt clearly dated and paid in full. The total amount visible at the bottom, $40,000. No edits. No drama. Just facts. Then came the final attachment. A voice note from Helena. "You're not invited. This is family only." Zara didn't add any commentary. She didn't accuse. She didn't insult. She let the silence between the proofs speak louder than any argument ever could. First, no one replied. The typing bubbles appeared, then disappeared. Messages were read, but no one knew what to say. People who had been praising Helena just hours earlier suddenly went quiet. The lies they believed were now standing next to the truth, and there was no way to ignore it. Few minutes later, messages started coming in slowly. "Zara, is this real? I didn't know you paid for everything." Helena said she planned it all. Zara didn't respond right away. She didn't need to. The story was already correcting itself. Screenshots were being forwarded. Calls were being made. People were connecting the dots on their own. Across the group, Helena finally spoke. "This is being taken out of context." But it was too late. Context doesn't erase receipts. And voice notes don't lie. Someone replied, "Then why did you ban her?" Another asked, "Why would you take credit for her money?" After that, the chat fell into complete silence. Zara set her phone down and leaned back, feeling a quiet release in her chest. Not victory. Not revenge. Just relief. For the first time, she didn't have to explain who she was or what she had done. The truth had done the talking for her. By the time the sun set that evening, the lie had nowhere left to hide. Truth doesn't need shouting. It doesn't need an audience. Once it's seen, it spreads on its own, faster than any lie ever could. And Zara, she simply went on with her evening, knowing she had finally been heard without raising her voice even once. Late that evening, Zara's phone rang. The name on the screen made her pause. Dad. She picked up slowly, expecting hesitation, maybe anger, maybe confusion. "Zara." Her father's voice came through, low and shaky, almost breaking. I didn't know. She stayed quiet, letting him gather his words. I thought Helena was organizing everything. I didn't know it was you. All these years. I didn't see." His voice trembled. The pride, the trust, the excitement he had shown for this trip, he now realized how it had been misrepresented. Zara felt a lump in her throat but held back. "Dad," she said softly, "I just wanted you to have a special birthday. That's all." Silence filled the line for a moment. Then he spoke again, more steadily. "I remember when I was sick, you were the one who stayed up with me. You were the one who made sure I had everything, who checked on me constantly, who didn't ask for anything in return. I should have noticed. I should have thanked you properly." Zara's mind flashed back to those nights. Her father coughing, struggling to sleep, her hand on his forehead, the quiet moments when she slipped out to get his medicine or cook him something warm. Helena had been nowhere to be found, always busy, always polite, always distant. I let her words cloud my judgment," he admitted, voice low. "I thought she was helping, I thought she cared, but it was all appearances. You've always been the one who truly cared for me." Zara felt a mix of relief and sadness. Relief that her father finally saw the truth. Sadness that it had taken so long, that Helena had manipulated even him, even now trying to claim the spotlight. "I'm sorry for not realizing sooner," he whispered. "I should have seen through it all. Thank you for everything, Zara." For the first time, she didn't need to explain her actions or defend herself. The receipts, the voice notes, the cancelled plans. They had spoken before she did, but now her father had spoken too. She smiled softly, a weight lifting from her chest. Helena's carefully constructed image was crumbling. The control she had over the family was slipping through her fingers. And in that moment Zara understood. She didn't need to fight to be recognized. Sometimes truth and care speak louder than lies and manipulation ever could. "Happy birthday, Dad," she said quietly, letting him feel it in her voice. And for the first time that day, Samuel Mwangi felt the full weight of who had truly been there for him all along. The next morning the family group chat erupted. Messages flooded in from relatives, cousins, aunts, and uncles. Shock, disbelief, and anger poured out in words, emojis, and voice notes. Helena had built herself a reputation as the organizer, the one who planned everything perfectly, the one everyone admired. But now, every message chipped away at that carefully crafted image. "Helena, how could you take credit for Zara's work?" one cousin asked. "This isn't right," another added. "We all saw the receipts." Helena's fingers trembled as she typed back, deleting and retyping her words. She tried to explain, tried to twist it into a misunderstanding. "I never meant to upset anyone," she wrote. "I thought I was helping." But her words fell flat. The screenshots, payment confirmations, and voice notes Zara had sent left no room for excuses. Everyone could see the truth clearly. Helena had banned Zara from the trip, taken credit for $40,000 of her efforts, and tried to manipulate the family's perception. By midday, relatives began confronting her privately, phone calls, messages, and even in-person visits. Some were disappointed. Others were furious. Helena tried to cry, tried to explain, tried to regain control. But it was too late. The trust she had relied on, the influence she had counted on, was gone. Even Samuel, her supposed ally, now looked at her differently. He had seen the receipts. He had heard the voice notes. The careful, commanding woman who had seemed untouchable was now exposed as manipulative and controlling. Her status, her authority, her perfect image. All of it crumbled overnight. People who once followed her lead quietly stopped answering her calls. Invitations she had counted on were now withheld. Conversations that once revolved around her now circled around Zara and the truth she had revealed. Helena sat alone in her living room, the echo of silence louder than any applause she had ever received. She wanted sympathy, wanted validation, wanted someone to believe her version. But the proof was everywhere, and the family had seen it. The fall was complete. The woman who thought she could control the narrative, who thought she could silence Zara, was no longer in charge. Zara, on the other hand, remained calm, quietly observing from afar. No celebration, no public announcements, no gloating. She didn't need to. Helena's collapse was visible to everyone who mattered, and in that silence, Zara knew she had reclaimed not only respect but dignity, the kind no money or manipulation could ever buy. For the first time, Helena realized that control isn't something you can force, something you earn. And once lost, it's nearly impossible to get back. After the storm of messages, calls, and confrontations, Zara finally felt a sense of calm she hadn't known in weeks. The chaos around Helena's fall and the family's reactions no longer touched her. She had no desire to argue, no need to prove herself further. The fight was over. The truth had spoken, and that was enough. Instead of joining the chatter, Zara focused on her father. She wanted him to feel loved, not burdened by the mess of lies and manipulations. She went to a small boutique in Nairobi and picked out a simple, elegant gift, a leather-bound journal he had once admired but never bought for himself. Along with it, she wrote a letter, pouring her thoughts onto paper, letting her words carry what her voice had not needed to shout. "Dad, I didn't cancel love. I canceled disrespect. Every plan, every effort I made was for you. I've learned that sometimes, boundaries speak louder than words, and silence carries more strength than noise. Enjoy this gift, and know that my heart has always been with you, not for recognition, but because you deserve it." She sealed the envelope and sent it with a courier, imagining her father opening it quietly, reading every word, and feeling the care behind it. There was no spectacle, no drama, no need for anyone else to witness it. This was between them, private, sincere, and dignified. After sending it, Zara blocked the family group chat, muted notifications, and stepped away from the phone. She didn't need validation from those who had tried to diminish her. She didn't need to watch Helena squirm or hear relatives gossip. Their reactions were no longer her concern. Sitting by her window that evening, she looked at the Nairobi skyline, lights twinkling like stars. A gentle smile spread across her face. For the first time in a long while, she felt free. Free from lies, free from manipulation, free from the weight of having to prove herself. She realized something important. Dignity wasn't about fighting back loudly or making others see you. It was about knowing your worth, standing firm quietly, and moving forward without bitterness. Zara didn't celebrate loudly, didn't post photos, didn't seek applause. She simply lived her truth, one quiet, confident step at a time. The noise of the world could rage, but she had chosen her peace, her respect, and her dignity, and nothing could take that away. Months later, Zara found herself driving along the winding roads to Naivasha, the sun setting over the calm lake. She had rented a small, cozy villa for the evening, nothing extravagant, just a space where she and her father could be together without pretense, without the noise of anyone else's drama. The table was simple but beautiful, with candles flickering softly and her father's favorite dishes carefully prepared. Zara had even added a few fresh flowers from the local market, arranging them herself. It wasn't about impressing anyone. It was about creating a moment that felt real, honest, and full of warmth. Her father arrived, a smile lighting up his face as he stepped into the villa. He looked around, noticing the care in every small detail, and reached out to hug her. "Zara, this is perfect," he said, his voice thick with emotion. They sat together, talking quietly about life, dreams, and memories. No one else intruded. No lies, no manipulation, no past misunderstandings. Just father and daughter, enjoying a simple, genuine evening together. Zara felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in years. As they laughed over an old story from her childhood, Zara thought back to the chaos of the past months. The banning, the cancellations, the lies, the exposure. A quiet smile curved her lips. The moment they had tried to exclude her, they had revealed themselves. Their greed, their manipulation, their attempts to control, it was all visible now. And yet, she had remained calm, patient, and dignified. Her father reached across the table, squeezing her hand. "You've always been the one who truly cared," he said softly. Zara squeezed back, feeling gratitude, love, and relief all at once. The candles flickered as the sun dipped below the horizon. Zara looked out at the lake, the water reflecting the last colors of the day. She felt proud, not because she had won or proven a point, but because she had stayed true to herself. she whispered softly, almost to herself. The moment they excluded me, they exposed themselves. And in that quiet villa by the lake, Zara finally celebrated in the way that mattered most, with love, truth, and peace.